Insiders are saying that Kirby Smart might be losing a lot of sleep right now over the play of his defensive backs. That's what people are telling us over at Dawg Post after a scrimmage over the weekend where the defensive backs didn't look all that great. Now, we heard a lot of promise during their first scrimmage that they kind of won the day a little bit over the wide receivers, but this past weekend, not a good day from the secondary. And Kirby Smart has, he hasn't beat around the bush there. He's kind of concerned right now about the overall play and the depth or the lack of depth that they have right now. He's talked multiple times about losing quality snaps from, Malachi Starks, Dan Jackson, definitely two of the guys who were leaders, captains of the team last year. And outside of KJ Bolden and Dalen Everett, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the secondary. And as you know, that's Kirby Smart's baby, right? That is the position group that he spends the most time with. And as we've seen, if you can't cover, you're going to give up a lot of points, right? You're not going to win a ton of games with a bad secondary. So it's a group that has a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of guys, a lot of talented guys who need to step up and assert themselves, not only as a player who can make plays and make an impact, but a guy who can lead, right? Whether it's, Janelle Aguero at the safety spot or one of the two talented cornerbacks that they signed 2 years ago, Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones. I mean, those guys appear to be pushing for that starting job because Daniel Harris was one of those guys who did not have a great scrimmage on Saturday. I'm going to share some notes about him. Let's do it right now, actually. Real quick, Ellis Robinson looked legit, but he got burned for a touchdown, one insider said. That's a guy they really need to step up. I mean, 5-star, right? Top 3 prospect in the country, long, athletic. Even though it's year 2, it might be time for Ellis Robinson to really start to emerge. This is a big spring for him. Looks like he's had a lot of highs, maybe a couple lows. But Daniel Harris did not have such a great day. I thought I had the quote in front of me. I'll find it in a second. But it was not a good day for Daniel Harris, who a guy that I thought would be a little bit better by now. They were going after him. That's what the quote said that I'm unable to find on my screen right now. But I'm reading too much. You can read all of this and more over on Dawg Post. Here it is. They deliberately ran plays at him. He did not have a good day. Now, that's not what you want to hear from a returning starter, right? He's the guy who took over for Julian Humphrey, who was doing, I thought it was the sword, but it's the belt buckle. When you lock down a receiver, all the DBs are doing this. I thought they were putting the sword away. No, they're buckling them up. They're locking them up. Julian Everett tried to do that when the ball was thrown 10 yards out of bounds, and then he'd get a pass interference call. They took him out and threw him into the transfer portal. Daniel Harris came in and showed, flashes, but got to be more consistent. And he's got guys right behind him. Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones, among others, who are eager for playing time. And listen, if they don't play Ellis Robinson, he might have one foot in the transfer portal already, right? It was kind of expensive to keep him from not signing with Miami. The kid's a South Florida guy, right? Miami came hard. And you know how they do it in NIL. George was able to land him, but it doesn't seem like he's ready yet. They want him to be. They need him to be. And DeMello Jones is right there. I mean, they're promising. They're just not there yet, apparently. But it's not a... Daniel Harris, has to step up. They need 2, consistent, reliable, dependable cornerbacks. Dalen Everett has shown he can be that, right? He can make plays in the run game. He's a tough hitter. And that's what he's looking for more. He wants guys who can wrap up and make a big tackle. He wants them to be physical. You have to cover. You have to be able to run. You have to have ball skills. You have to have length. But you gotta be physical too. You can't have a wide receiver on the edge, on the perimeter, throwing you backwards 10 yards on a screen route or on a sweep or whatever. If the offense is trying to get the ball on the perimeter, you've got to have physical cornerbacks who can hold their own, get off blocks, and make a play in the backfield. That's what Kamari Lassiter did. They don't have a Kamari Lassiter that I know of right now. Maybe they will, but these guys have to get better. At safety, They brought the two in, Jaden Harris from Miami, Adrian Maddox, who I like a little bit more, came out of UAB. Those guys are going to be pushing for playing time. Justin Rhett is a veteran. I believe he's a cornerback. I believe he's still on a roster. I don't think he went into the portal. That's a guy who's been in the program a little bit now. Kyron Jones is a safety that Kirby's talked about, still learning to play the position, but he's a guy that definitely brings the physicality, right? He brings the boom, as those TikTokers would say. Toughness, right? So some of these guys are tough. Some of them just might be soft. It might be. I'm not calling them out. I'm just saying, from stuff I've heard, right? And it's easy to be soft at Georgia because the standard for toughness and grittiness is so high. So if you don't meet that standard, you may not be a soft player at 90 other programs, 90% of other college programs, but you might be considered soft at Georgia if you don't bring that level of physicality to practice and show the coaches, hey, not only can I cover, but I can make a big tackle in the open field. And they're going to be going against some pretty decent quarterbacks, right? I don't know exactly who they are. I'm assuming Arch Manning will be leading Texas. Ole Miss has Austin Simmons, who I really like. Georgia Tech did some good things both on the ground and sometimes through the air against the Dogs. They'll have both their quarterbacks returning. Alabama will have some type of quarterback who can sling the ball in that offense that likes to sling the ball around. So the secondary has a major challenge ahead of them. And I think this could be the year where Kirby Smart is losing some hair, losing some sleep about his secondary in the spring more than any other year in the last several years, right? And again, a lot of this is on the coaching. They've got a lot of players right now. They brought in some from the portal. They have a decent amount returning. They just didn't start, right? They have two returning starters, KJ Bolton, Dalen Everett, but Janelle Aguero's got playing time. I don't think he started a considerable amount of time, week after week after week. Kyron Jones is a promising, player. Again, Ja'Cory Thomas is a safety that's played some, not a ton. He's a guy who should be saying, hey, I've been here forever now, right? You young bucks, y'all aren't taking my spot. I'm going to win that starting safety job. And maybe he does, but he's another guy who's got to get better too. So there's a lot of names. There's a lot of guys. They just haven't been able to make the plays and provide the depth I think Kirby Smart wants. So Dante Williams, cornerbacks coach, I think he's got, he's got a big year in front of him, right? He's got to get these guys ready to play. Travaris Robinson, the secondary coach, he's been around a long time. He's coached in the secondary at a lot of other programs, including Alabama. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to coach. So I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him and the whole staff. I mean, I've been told by multiple people, Kirby's pushing his staff hard. He knows that a lot of these guys need coaching. A lot of them need to start practicing and showing the staff that they know what they're doing and they can bring it from a physical standpoint, both mentally and physically, they're ready to play. So he's pushing the coaching staff. Hey, we recruited these guys. We brought them in either through high school or through the portal because we think they can play. You got to coach them up. They've got to be ready because this is going to be another tough season. They're playing a lot of good teams. So, we're expecting KJ Bolton to take a step forward. We're expecting Dalen Everett to take a step forward. But if they don't, then Georgia's in real trouble because those are the two that you can depend on who have made big plays before in big games. Everyone else, even Daniel Harris, he hasn't made a ton of big plays. He hasn't made game-changing plays. He had a really big hit on that Florida Gator, on the goal line. So he's shown flashes of toughness, but he's not a guy that takes a great angle to the ball carrier. He's still not super consistent in coverage. He's kind of bigger. He doesn't have he's not the fastest guy. So eventually, Ellis Robinson needs to see the field. I think we will see him at some point, probably early on. You can't get the flag thrown on you. You can't grab. The pass interference is what it will drive Kirby crazy. So if Daniel Harris gets in a little trouble there, like Julian Humphrey did, he has no problem benching a cornerback, and bringing someone else in. Ellis Robinson's got to step up. DeMello Jones has an opportunity. Kyron Jones at safety, star, has an opportunity. Janelle Aguero, now's the time. It is a money year for Janelle Aguero. He's got to get it going and show that he has the potential to be one of the best safeties possibly in the SEC. Year 3, got to get there, right? Ja'Cory Thomas, Justin Redd, again, I hope he's still on the team, or I'm going to look like an idiot. The portal is kind of a revolving door in a way, so I don't think he hit the portal. He was a guy I had my eye on, but I don't think he did. Either way, there's a lot of guys who need to step up and really push for one of these starting jobs and earn it and beat out other good players for that job. But I think, Kirby's not too thrilled with this group right now from what I'm hearing behind the scenes. And that is not ideal. That's his group now. That's his group. He's got to get them ready. Got to get them ready. Thanks for watching. You can read more about this over on Dawg Post. Hope you learned something. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.